A very good evening to everyone present here tonight. My name is Brian, and I will be your host for tonight. On behalf of the JPO family, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone tuning in for tonight's broadcast. We hope that everyone is doing well and staying safe indoors. A friendly reminder to maintain good hygiene at all times and maintain social distancing when heading out. As we'd like to continue improving your experience with us, please help us achieve this by completing the poll that will be published during this broadcast. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free to type them out in the Q&A section down below. To anyone who is interested in sharing tonight's broadcast, a live feed will be shared on the JPO Facebook page, and a recording of the webinar will also be uploaded onto the page. Tonight's seminar features the members of the Romare String Quartet, all the way from Hong Kong, and their topic being the experiences, enjoyment, and challenges of being in a quartet. First off, we have Madam Kitty Cheong on the first violin, and Madam Kian Chow on the second violin. Next, we have Mr. Ringo Chan on the viola, and last but not least, Mr. Eric Yip on the cello. The JPO is very honored to have them join in as our guests for tonight. I hope that you'll all join me in giving them a warm welcome. The Romare String Quartet is an ensemble involving 4 members that were all born and raised in Hong Kong. They debuted in 2013 and have since then been recognized as one of the most active existing string quartets within both the local and international music communities. Aside from their own individual achievements, they have toured many parts of Asia and even the USA, performing in famous venues such as Carnegie Hall in New York and Toppan Hall in Tokyo. They have collaborated with organizations such as the Hong Kong Sinfonietta, the Hong Kong Composers Guild, Hong Kong Leisure and Cultural Services Department, and even the Radio Television Hong Kong. However, their repertoire is not solely limited to quartet performances, as they have collaborated with a variety of artists, including dancers, multimedia artists, and even rock bands. One of their works, which involved their contributions to the multimedia project entitled Muted Situations, was even featured in both the United Kingdoms and Hong Kong. They have since then continued collaborating with many composers of different backgrounds. Aside from their adventures as performers, the Romare String Quartet has also been a key figure in promoting chamber music to the youth of Hong Kong and the rest of Asia. They had previously served as the ensemble in residence of the Chinese University of Hong Kong between the years 2014 and 2015. They also served as the ensemble in residence of the Hong Kong New Music Ensemble's Modern Academy and the Hong Kong Children's Symphony Orchestra. This gave them the opportunity to conduct masterclasses and workshops at the Hong Kong Institute of Education, Macau Polytechnic Institute, and even Kota Kinabalu's own String Music Festival. They also dedicated their time and experience to provide free educational workshops and concerts to children in collaboration with the Hong Kong Playground Association. So once again, without further ado, a very good evening to the Romare String Quartet. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. To start off tonight's interview, what can you tell us about the video that we had just watched?
Ian, would you like to answer that question?
Sorry, I thought you were asking the audience. Pull window out of my screens. Do that attendance, the pool thingy. It just blocked all the I see in front of me. Saw that window out. I'm not sure if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the questionnaire, right? You mean?
Yeah. So it.
Yeah.
So now the question is about the 2 videos that you just played.
Yep. So what can you tell us about the video that we were just watching earlier on? Like the 2 videos that we were just watching?
Oh, that was the performances. I think the first one is Rodin String Quartet, and which we had the performance in Zhuhai, in 2018. I think that was the first movement. And the second excerpt is the Schulhoff, well, one of our favorite composers, Erwin Schulhoff. And that was a performance back in 2016. Yeah.
All right. Does anybody want to add to that?
No.
No? All right.
Piano's best.
No.
Yeah, I think she already said everything.
That's
So,
good.
When it comes to remembering dates and performances, Kian
yeah,
is the one you should go for.
yeah.
All right. We'll keep that in mind then. All right. So in that sense, we'll move on to our questions then. So how did you all meet, and what made you all consider starting a quartet together?
We actually started in 2012, and at that time we just graduated from overseas because we also did work at some point, and we started playing weekly. We started just playing just for fun, nothing serious. Like, of course, we were serious about the music that we were playing, but then we never thought about how we would become and how our future would be. And then we keep playing for about half a year, and then in 2013, we finally have our first formal performance. And we actually have a debut recital in 2013 again. I'm trying to remember the date right.
Yeah, 2013. I think it's the Chinese New Year, right?
After China.
Yeah.
So Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
That was in that year.
We first went to Macau first. It's like 2 days before our Hong Kong debut. So literally we had the Macau debut before Hong Kong debut.
Okay.
It's the Macau University, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, thanks for the insight then. That's definitely interesting. You guys debuted in Macau instead of back in Hong Kong first.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. So how different, based on your experiences, how different has it been operating as a quartet as opposed to going solo or being part of an orchestra?
I think mainly is about the artistic and management decisions. So in orchestra, actually, you don't need to worry about anything. You are being told when to go to work, what do you need to play, and what you need to practice, what you need to prepare before the rehearsal. And for solo, you make every decision by yourself. Like you are the boss, you're the owner boss, and you have every fantasy you could put on for your solo recital or concerts. But for quartet, I mean, it takes a lot of compromise when you need to make a decision, because it's for individual person. We have different tastes and different kinds of opinions on what you want to play and want to achieve. So that takes a long time to negotiate, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like in an orchestra. Well, when you're a soloist, you don't have you come from your background, and everything that you express through your music or as a person, you basically presenting yourself. But here as a quartet, we always have to be presented as a family of quartet, and so you still have to have a lot of personalities because we're each playing one part, each person. But at the same time, if any one of us are too shy or too dominating, then it's not going to work, because it's a four people matter, it's a family matter. So a lot of things have to do with knowing exactly what is best for the quartet instead of what is best for individual. And I think this is quite, it's a challenge. It's fun thing to do too. We all come from family, so we all know the challenge, and it's kind of easy to relate, but you just have to put it in the context of a string quartet. And then we have each of us have a family, so it's like extended family, because we need to take into account of the schedule of everyone's family. For example, if let's say Eric's wife has a birthday, we need to take that into account, or if Tian's dad needs some celebration, we need to take also that into account into our schedule. So this is, yeah, so it's really just like a family.
Yeah, I think people always compare quartet as marriage, but because I'm married, so I think it's more difficult than marriage. Quartet, because it's 4-person, it's not 2-person. Yeah, it takes quite long time. I don't know how the other people feels. I mean, how about Ringo or Tian?
We always use this as a metaphor, the double marriage.
Yeah, I think when you think about marriage, and then when 2 people are involved, and there are so many problems already, and then there are 4 of us here, so you just multiply, you do the math. But then, all things aside, like if it's just if we treat it like a business, or we just treat it like a work and a career thing, then we take all the fun out of it. But then throughout the years, it's interesting to see how we try to explore and also find the balance between the 4 of us. And I'm actually quite proud to say that none of us are less than who we are when we first started 5 years ago. Wait, it's not 5 years. How many years has it been going?
Yeah, 5 years. I think.
2013, so that's about 7 years now.
Yeah, because we have the 5th anniversary like a few years back, so we can't be still in the 5th year. Yeah.
In Chinese, there's a sentence called 引鸡养.
Oh no, are we there yet?
Are you feeling itchy yet?
No.
Well, it's definitely nice hearing that you guys treat it more as like a relationship kind of thing, like marriage, like you guys called it, as opposed to treating it as like a business sort of thing. So, yeah, that was definitely very insightful. Thanks to all 4 of you. All right. So, does anybody else have anything that they'd like to say about like how different it has been so far?
Sorry, couldn't hear you just now.
Then it's all right. I think we'll move on to the next question in that sense. So with that, what were the main when you guys first started off? What were the main challenges that that all of you experienced, and did your individual reputations assist in overcoming any of these challenges?
No challenge. I feel enhanced by my friends. I think they all feel the same. It's not a challenge.
Yeah, I think
Full of challenges. Life is always full of challenges. It's the way how we overcome it, and all 4 of us solve it quite quickly, I think.
That's good. All right.
I think basically we are quite blessed because we are because many when we first formed our quartet, we have already played in the art festival in Hong Kong, and it's already a big thing for us when we start. So we have many opportunities when we come through these 5 years. Many people supporting us, so we are so thankful for those people who have been helping us along the way.
Yeah, can I just add one thing? I would like to take the opportunity here to thank Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra, because the festival that is actually one of the first things, the first outreach activity, and one of the, well, not one of, is actually the first trip that Roma Quartet has done. So it was a really, really good experience to begin with, and it really provided us with the chance to experience how to work together as a quartet, and with wonderful people in Sabah. And yeah, so we truly are grateful until this time that we're still connected right now, and that we're still here chatting. So I think along the way we made a lot of friends around the world, and our world just been constantly expanding through each other's friends and our connections, and keeping our connection. So I think, yeah, what Eric said was really true, and is something that we probably can talk about for 2 hours, and go, yeah, the list goes on. So I think we should stop here. Move on.
Yeah, I still meet Sabah. If you need us, we could come back again.
Well, thanks to all of you for the sentiment. Like unfortunately we can't stop here because now it's our turn to thank. That now we would like to thank all of you for all your help so far. So the JPO would like to thank the Romeo Quartet for all your contributions and towards the development of our orchestra. So the Romeo String Quartet has assisted in the conducting of tutorials and musical workshops with the JPO and related organizations such as the Sabah Chongqing Secondary School and Kangkok String Ensembles, as we've seen in some of the images before. So you guys have also helped us with the Permata Seni Music and 16 Strings Quartet. So you guys have helped us a lot. So your collaboration with the JPO has allowed us to facilitate these workshops, and you have also allowed us to further develop the musical talents of our country's youth. So that's definitely something we're very grateful towards all of you for. So other than that, you guys have also assisted us in promoting classical and chamber music in our country, because you guys have collaborated with the JPO to hold concerts, as once again, as we've seen in so many of the images behind us. So once again, many thanks to all of you for dedicating all your time, your time and dedication to travel all the way from Hong Kong to Kota Kinabalu, because it's not exactly a short trip either. So once again, the JPO would like to extend its appreciation to all 4 of you. So thank you.
Thank you too.
I'm surprised how normal I look in all these pictures, because I remember I was really sick that day.
Really sick. Okay.
We traveled right after the Nutcracker, remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also,
So
it's so hard that I kept Eric awake for the whole night. And
Yeah.
that's the last time we share the room
Yes.
when we go.
Oh.
yes.
Sorry, we got carried away. What's your next question?
Well, that okay. So that was the challenge. I'll go back to answer the previous question. The challenge of doing our quartet is that we have to be running from one rehearsal to the other, because we have multiple identities. We're not just doing the quartet. So this was really good example. We had just finished a concert. We brought our suitcases to the concert, and then we all just rushed on the taxi, and then went to the airport, went straight to Malaysia, and then did this thing, and then spent a wonderful time. And so yeah, that was the challenge. And then even if you feel sick, you just have to enjoy it, because it's precious time. It's something that we make a decision to dedicate to. So that, but it's not really a challenge at the same time, because we decided to do it.
That's nice.
Okay.
Okay. So nothing is the challenge anymore.
Okay.
Well, fair enough. Oh my, we did not know about that. Well, but once again, that's all the more thanks to you guys for like pushing through it. Oh, okay. So moving on to our next question. So regarding your music tastes, do you guys? I think you've mentioned it previously. You guys all have, you guys all have different tastes in music. So does that affect what you guys select for your performances? If so, how do you guys decide on the repertoire? You guys just compromise and select different songs, right?
I think all for of us, they will agree with me that we usually include Haydn in our program. Because Haydn is the father of string quartet. You see, Ringo is nodding his head very, very hard. Yeah. Thank you, Kitty. And yeah, so we will include Haydn. Yeah. When we choose the Haydn string quartet, and we have a habit to choose a string quartet that has a nickname. For example, I remember the first Haydn string quartet when we played it is called The Joke. And then the second one we chose the Frog because we are we named after the Romer's tree frog, so we chose the Frog, and so on. And then based on Haydn, we normally then choose a less well-known but still very well-known composer. For example, like Schulhoff. Yeah. Maybe someone can continue.
One of the things that we like doing is that we explore some lesser known composers to bring the music to life, such as what Kian said, Schulhoff, and also we accidentally discovered a composer called Malevsky. I don't think that was an accident, Kitty, was it? When
Which
we
one?
found Malevsky.
Oh, it was an accident. I would, well, I Google a lot when it comes to repertoire, and I just listen to a bunch of music, and sometimes when you search for one thing, this is just coincidence, I think. Then you get attracted to certain words, and then you just keep on searching. And at one point, I came across Malevsky. Malevsky is a Polish composer, a living composer, who happened. Then I found out that we went to the same school, but of course he's much older. He's in his 70s, so he's much in a completely different generation. But we were connected because we went to the same music college. So I just sent him an email and say our quartet really like your piece. I showed the piece to the quartet and they really liked it. And then can we play your music? So he sent us his music, and a lot of times our choice of music came through this way. Yeah, or from conversation with our friend composer who would all of a sudden out of nowhere point a light at the next piece that we might be doing in the concert.
Mm-hmm. And for the Haydn, Kian mentioned, I think we work on Haydn a lot because I think we all feel comfortable on working on Haydn. I don't know why, because we have less argument when we do work on Haydn. I mean, we have, I think we, right? Is this right? Is it right? I don't know. I think we have less argument when we did Haydn, as supposed to be maybe Ravel and other Debussy or something else. Yeah, Haydn, we feel comfortable on it. And just like recently, we start to work on Mozart's string quartet. I think after we work on Haydn, we feel that Mozart is the next step of Haydn. So I think it's just come naturally, something. We don't decide on what we have to do, but we will just do something naturally when it comes to the time. Yeah.
I think interestingly, most of the time we plan to do one thing and then we finally sit down and have a read through of the music and then decide to do something else. That happened for many times already, I think.
Yeah, but I think that's true.
Yeah, but it always comes from Haydn. Like if we have to plan a concert, the first thing that we would decide on is a Haydn string quartet, and then from there we just branch out and keep exploring what we like, and then finally become something completely different.
Yeah, and the deciding factor would be whether we like it or not, whether our quartet feels comfortable or not. and whether the audience would like the programming because of the keys or the character or anything, the background of the music, like from different periods, is a variety appropriate, or is it appropriate music for the age group or the purpose of the performance? So we all take these into account. So for example, the photo that you can see in the background, we did a concert as part of the Hong Kong Hong Kong week. So it's Hong Kong week in Taiwan.
Yeah, you got
yes,
it.
and yeah, okay. And that we were collaborating with a dancer. So there we needed to know, we be playing something that we could memorize. As you can tell, we were memorizing the music, something that is easy to dance with, because not every music is straightforward and dance is possible to dance with. Is accessible to the audience because it's open to public. So all these things were taken into account when we choose our repertoire.
All right. Well, thank you for that in-depth like view into how you guys organize and plan for your performances. It was definitely very eye-opening, because you guys go into the history of string quartets with Haydn, and that's the base of how you guys plan your performances. So once again, thanks for all that. So before we move on, just another friendly reminder to our audience that if you have any questions for the Romero String Quartet, just feel free to type them out in the Q&A section down below, or leave them in the comments, and we'll get to them shortly. So moving on. So as you may know, the JPO has been managing an outreach program to provide children in parts of Sabah lacking musical facilities with opportunities to learn music. And based on your profile, you guys have conducted concerts and even workshops to help develop your country's youth's musical ability. So, in that sense, what suggestions can you make for the JPO to improve our outreach program?
Okay, now that's a tough question. I think the most important thing when you're planning a concert for kids is that you need to have fun, and you have to trust that the children has the ability to understand whatever you're trying to deliver to them. And they like music. Kids like music naturally. You don't have to worry too much about that. And the only thing I would say is try to keep things brief, because they probably cannot sit around for too long, and that's the only thing that I would keep in mind. We played George Crumb in a kids concert, like, you know, the Black Angels with all the insect noise and everything. We played that, and the kids like it, so they have a higher tolerance than we would ever expect.
We even set up a script for that family concert. That was just in December 2019, just like 5 months ago, which is half a year ago. The whole program is based on the as you said, is the history of string quartet, or the musical history. So we started off from Haydn, and then from that onwards we brought to them Beethoven, Brahms, but we just played few bars of the Beethoven string quartet and the Brahms string quartet, which is just like less than a minute or less than 30 seconds. But and then after we played, we did a bit of drama to go along with the music, so they understand it more, I think.
And to add on what they said, I think for me, the key word is passion. If I am thinking something for the kids, I think if I can choose something to keep up their passion, I will prefer to choose something they love to do, rather than I want them to do something. And and to be honest, when I first came to Sabah, I learned a lot from how you teach the kids. Actually, I really like how you inspire the kids over there, and I think different places has a different tendency, and people learn in a different way. So I shouldn't say we should give any advice. Maybe we should learn from you guys, I think.
Well, I'm sure we can all learn from each other this with regards to this, because you guys definitely have your own set of experiences working with the Hong Kong Playground Association, especially. But definitely thanks a lot for your advice there. Like, it's definitely something that we'll keep in mind. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, I think we're about to be able. I think we'll be able to start on our Q&A section in a while. So, but before we move on to our Q&A section, it's time for a little game. If you guys are up for it.
So, I need to have a paper, right?
Yeah. So just so our audience know, the game that we're about to play is called it's more commonly known as the newlywed game. So basically, what we do is we'll ask a question to all four of our guests, and they'll all answer based on their knowledge of a certain person. So whoever gets their answer closest to the person in question receives a point. So shall we start off? Everyone ready? Yep. Okay. So firstly, let's start off with Miss Kitty. So how would so this is a question to everyone. How would Miss Kitty best describe herself? Yeah. Everyone ready? Everyone got the answer?
I don't know if I have the right spelling of that word.
I mean, it's fine. I think we'll all be able to understand that. All right. So whenever you're ready, show your answer onto the screen. So sophisticated. Okay. Spontaneous. Messy but organized. Okay. So it's we can't see Miss Kitty's
how do I?
I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Miss Kitty, could you move it closer to the screen?
All over the place. Is it only one word?
Yeah, no, it's multiple words. So we have
okay. I thought it's only one word. Okay.
So once again, we had sophisticated from Mr. Eric. What was Mr. Ringo's answer again? Sorry.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. Okay, all over the place. And we had Miss Kian, who was messy, but what was it? Messy but messy but organized. Okay, I think in that sense, I think Mr. Ringo was the only one who but maybe Miss Kian's answer was quite close as well. So maybe we'll give the point to both of you. So congratulations, Mr. Ringo and Miss Kian.
Oh no.
Right, so in that sense, we have 1 point for the two of you. So moving on to our next question for the game. So how does Mr. Eric feel at the moment?
How does he feel at the moment?
Yeah.
Can it be more than one word?
Yeah. I mean, it's up to you guys. Yeah.
So it's this moment or this period or I don't know.
Like this moment right now.
Okay.
That's a tough one. I'm afraid I'm gonna sound lame.
Okay.
Yep. So everyone got the answers.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
That looks like a very long word, Eric.
Yes. Yes. I add some word after.
Yes,
Say-
multiple emotions
One.
at the moment.
Okay.
All right. So whenever you guys are ready, please show your answers. Okay, we have happy, interesting, and a bit embarrassed. Okay, happy, unhappy, insecure. Okay. Oh my.
Eric!
Miss Kitty. Yeah, Miss Kitty, we're having some trouble looking at yours. Move the paper slightly downwards, slightly further away.
I think it's the virtual background because
Yeah. Let's see. Competitive right now. Okay. Competitive right now. So let's see. We had happy, happy, and insecure. And what was Mr. Eric's answer?
Oops.
Interesting and a bit embarrassed. I think in this sense, Miss Kian's answer was probably the closest, being a bit insecure. All right. So with
well,
that, sorry.
well, I know you so well, Eric.
So with that, that's another point to Miss Kian. All right. So we'll now move on to our next one. So what is Mr. Ringo's favorite music genre? And you get bonus points if you get the correct composer or artist. You can only put in like one answer for this, like the music genre and the composer.
Composer.
Or
Oh.
artist or musical artist.
Can I write in Cantonese?
Sorry?
Can I write in Cantonese? Because Chinese. I
okay.
don't know the name of.
I think if you do that, you'll have to read it because I have trouble reading Chinese.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm nervous. What are you writing?
Okay.
Okay, I don't know the answer, but I'm just gonna make you laugh.
Right. This will
Okay.
definitely be an interesting round then.
Is it going to be a viola joke?
I mean, I'm a living viola joke. What are you talking about?
All right. So is everyone ready
Okay.
with the answers?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. All right. So just whenever you're ready, just show your answer to the screen. So pop song, and I can't read out English composers. Okay.
Zhang Yigin. I don't know how to say Zhang Yigin. Zhang Yigin.
I think Mr. Ringo, you have to tell me, like, did any of them get the right answer?
No, I
Yikin
can't.
Chen.
Kitty has. What do you have, Kitty?
I lost.
It's
I lost
a
it.
Brahms. The Brahms.
Yeah.
Oh my god, guys!
You got Tong Choi.
Oh my god, guys! I thought we were in the music business together. This is gonna be embarrassing. So this is my all-time favorite.
Whoa!
Yay!
Oh no!
So did anyone get it right?
No.
I think Kitty, right?
Did you get it right?
Closest. At least it's
Closest.
Brahms.
So did she get both the music genre and the composer correct?
I think Kitty got the composer correct, so I'll give 1 point to her.
Well, I think then in that sense it's a point to Miss Kitty then. Congratulations. Okay, so we're moving on to our next one.
Guys, this doesn't look good on us at all.
Well, moving on. Sorry about that. Well, moving on to the next one. Let's see. What is Miss Kian's favorite moment with the quartet? Sorry to put you guys on the spot here, though.
Seems like I'm not going to get any points.
I mean, we can because I have quite a long list of questions here, so we can take a break from these and go to our Q&A section first, and then we'll come back to these if we have the time.
Oh, we have many questions? Okay.
Yeah, we're starting to receive questions, so we'll finish this round and then we'll move on to the questions first, and then we'll come back with the game.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm
All right.
ready.
Yeah.
Mr. Eric, are you ready?
I'm not sure if I'm ready.
You are ready.
We'll
All
never be ready for this.
So whenever you guys feel comfortable, just show your answers.
You said this is a wedding game? A
Right
game for
now.
newlyweds? This is
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
This is really mean.
I think the questions that sometimes they ask is who takes up most of the bed, or who tends to sleep the loudest, and such questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of questions that they usually ask.
Bathroom and who cook and who wash, something like that.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
kind of questions that they usually ask in these kind of games. So
Okay.
Miss Kitty's answer was right now. So how about Mr. Ringo and Mr. Eric?
Hey, you talked about playing this in your wedding, so this must be important, right?
Wait,
What is that?
Yeah, you talked when you were planning your wedding, you talked about having us play that in your wedding, and you're telling me this is not important? What? Guys, really? We have to okay, this is like a moment of reflection here. We don't know each other.
oh, we don't know each other. So what is Eric's?
Oops.
Yeah. Rehearsing. Wait, what?
Sorry.
Oh, just
Not
rehearsing?
rehearsing.
Definitely not.
Not rehearsing. Just laughing with tears.
Yeah.
Oh my god, guys.
I think I'm right. Not rehearsing.
Not rehearsing. It's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a stretch, but I think if anyone's laughing and crying at the moment, I think the closest would be Miss Kitty's because it would be right now.
Okay.
So does that mean so are we in agreement? Does Miss Kitty get a point or something? I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Miss Kitty gets a point as well. All right. So before we get too carried away, we'll move on to our Q&A section.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see. Our first question comes from Miss Susanna Lee. So she asked, "Hi all. Does each of you play any other instruments professionally and for fun, or do you just focus on your main respective instruments?" Rick's answers.
Meanwhile, because we are all in the lockdown, I tried singing and playing the piano again. So just for fun, meanwhile. But basically, I play the violin professionally. Yeah.
All right. How about Miss Kitty, Mr. Eric, and Mr. Ringo?
Just the violin.
All right.
But but they know that I tend to sing very loudly in lesson, too loud, and not professional.
All right. How was the gentleman of Ugly?
I play the viola, and I don't have any more brain power to, learn another instrument.
He plays the violin too.
Yeah.
You cannot
That's a
play
viola
anything
joke.
else. Yeah, that's a viola joke.
Okay, definitely had me there at least. All right. So how about you, Mr. Eric? Do you play any other instruments?
I don't want to tell other people, but I play the flute as well. But I didn't practice a lot, so I shouldn't say I play the flute. So yeah, but I will not sing. I don't like singing, but yeah. But if I teach, I will sing, but not in
Understandable. Well, I think
Yeah.
but I think that does answer the question because they did ask instruments for fun as well. So I think the flute does count in that sense. All right. So moving on. We have another person wishing to say hi to all of you. So they said hi. I'm sure
Hi.
when you all work on a piece, there will be different opinions from each of you. So how do you guys iron out compromise and agree? Iron out the differences, compromise and agree on certain things.
Keep trying
Keep trying.
until we feel comfortable, because a lot of times we feel like we're not happy. Half of the time to come from us not totally compromising with each other, but also usually is because the way you practice usually is a lot. The sound that you hear in your head is quite different from what you actually hear with when it's played together with your friends, with your quartet. So basically you just learn the notes, you know how things coordinate, and then you need to relearn the piece as a group together, because everything is you need to be spontaneous. So the spontaneity part takes time for every. Of course, it's get easier as your quartet grows older, but every new piece it takes a little time to readjust that spontaneity, and so a lot of that that exploration has to do with being comfortable with being spontaneous. So instead of being fixed with one fixed idea of how we're going to do this, I think through the process of trying, we come to the we eventually come to the point where we feel comfortable doing it this way or that way or that way, and then we'll see how it happens at the concert. Then we might just play by ear. So that would be the ultimate goal for every piece that we play. And that was so the verbal compromising is actually just midway in the process, I would say, and not the ultimate result.
So talking about the process, I think usually it only goes two ways. So sometimes someone compromise, sometimes it takes some fight in order to get some results. So it really depends how we react to each other comments. I think a quartet playing is the most challenging part is the relationship of to achieve a level, as well as at the same time we keep the relationship. That's the hard part, because you want to suggest something in a nice way without hurting people. I think that's the hard part. What do you think? I think it's hard, still hard for me.
I think the key, I mean, this is gonna sound really cliche, but then the key is to really listen to each other. Because sometimes, you know how music is beyond words, right? Because we can't find words to describe what we are feeling and what we are hearing in our head. And that creates a problem because none of us can describe accurately about what we want and what we would like to achieve. And in rehearsal, sometimes there are multiple times that we would fight, and like we're not all friendly now, but when we fight, we're all really mean. And when we are fighting, and then we just keep trying, like Kitty said, and then ultimately we found out that we were not meaning what we say, or we're not meaning what we were describing before. Maybe we compromise in the middle and without knowing, but then you really have to listen to each other and find the sound in the middle that we're all happy about.
Yeah, I remember one time we were collaborating with the other a couple other artists who were playing at the festival, the Chamber Festival in Hong Kong earlier this year. And one of the most memorable phrases in rehearsal, I still remember it very clearly, is that someone in the rehearsal says, let's not play the way we think, but play with the way you hear. So we have to discard of what is in our head, empty ourselves in order to absorb and be inspired. And this is really something that we always forget. We always think that our own ideas or your idea, we always want to put the concept of ideas on the table. But in fact, if there's no ideas involved, but just pure listening, the picture is clear and everything just comes into place on its own, like how nature works, basically. You never want to force anything to happen.
All right. Well, thank you to all of you for your answers. That was definitely very insightful. Does anybody else have anything else to add to this question? No? All right. So moving on. We have a person asking, do you guys have any plans for the future of the Romero String Quartet? What are your plans for the future?
Happiness.
Happiness. That's a very good one.
No, it's actually very hard, like to do what we like to do and then still be happy about it. Because as a musician, it's very easy to criticize yourself too much, and over criticizing is basically what's killing most of the musicians out there. And we would like to be good, and at the same time, we would like to be happy. And so it's actually very challenging to be happy. Oh my God, I need a therapist.
Are you crying?
No, well, only with joy.
All thanks to the previous question. The previous part of the game wasn't. So does anybody else have anything to add regarding the quartet's future plans?
Well, in the past, I think it really has to do with age as well. You know, when we were all just new to the professional. Well, not exactly new, but freshly professional. And we all had these goals, these life career goals, like, oh, we want to be this, we want to be that. But in the end, you realize after being here, after being with Quartet, you start to prioritize yourself about what is ultimately more important. And so I think all four of us would agree, I think, otherwise we won't be here together, is the human to human, is the community, is something beyond music, actually. That is more important, because if somebody really just wants to plan for a future, you might miss out your friendship, you might miss out your relationship with your family, or your relationship with people who care about you. So I think maybe our quartet really is just it's like sailing a boat on an adventure. We kind of, with four people, we know how to, we figured out a way to balance ourselves so none of us fall off the boat. And we're not going to set a goal saying we're going to be reaching there in this certain amount of time, because in that case, maybe one of us was going to fall off. And we're going to lose one members. And this is ultimately what we never want to happen. And so I think the priority is that we will want to keep each other safe and happy. And then whatever opportunity comes up, we will not overload ourselves. But at the same time, we'll keep finding opportunities and say yes to opportunities that is challenging and fun. More importantly, if it really helps us connect to community, or use music as a tool to bring people together, that might be our goal. It's not a really solid goal, but more of a concept that we follow, I think. So the plan is to stay with that concept, and see how far we'll go with this concept close to our heart.
All right. Judging from how everyone else is nodding their heads, I assume that everyone does agree with this. So kudos to all of you for like sticking with this mentality going forward with your quartet. So thank you for that. So moving on, what are some of your favorite things about performing chamber music?
That's a hard question. Joy.
You mean as a quartet or other, you can play trio or recitals, dual recitals? You mean quartet, right?
I think maybe, yeah. Seems like the person would be asking in terms of playing together as a quartet.
Oh.
Tough question.
Yeah.
Collaboration. We talked about it in some other interview that because we do collaborate a lot with artists from different genres, and I think collaboration is the fun part of being in a quartet because it's not just the four of us. Because help me out, guys.
Yes, I remember once when we were collaborating with a storyteller, Hong Zai Suk Suk. I don't know how to make it English. Uncle
That's his
Hong.
name.
Uncle
Teddy
Hong.
Bear.
Uncle Hong. Yeah, not bear. Uncle Bear, right? Or Uncle Bear. So
He's a storyteller.
Yeah, he is the storyteller, and we have another composer to compose the music for the story, and I really like the collaboration because it really makes sense to make every other mediums of art together, to put together. And I think multimedia is a big trend in this century. For me, I would like to explore more. I mean, for this kind of collaboration is more interesting than just us playing. What do you think? I think it's more interesting. Yeah.
I mean, we can always play Haydn and Beethoven and Brahms and whatever classical genre that we can look into. But then it's collaborating has a lot of more potentials and possibilities when it comes to playing with other art forms. So this is my favorite part of being in this quartet.
Yeah, I like how our quartet becomes, you know how each of us have a personality, right? And then when we form a quartet, the quartet has a vibe, has a personality. And I really enjoy observing our quartet. As a quartet, the personality morphs and change as we collaborate with other artists in different settings. So I think that is fascinating. Just it's like a self exploration as individual and also as a group, because you realize how different of a person you can be in particular setting, and yeah, this is quite amazing. Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun to see, and then it really inspires us to play differently when we come back to our usual repertoire. Because if we only play those traditional repertoire, we can only see one side of ourselves. We won't be seeing, for example, if we play with rock band, we realize, oh, wait, we can do crazy stuff. Or like if when we do dancing or talking drama, we realize, oh, actually we can do more animated stuff even in our playing. So it really just opens up the being, and then it's cool.
Yeah, and I remember once when we worked with Michael Schiffel, a singer, a jazz singer, and he always improvised a lot on his own ideas. He used his own iPad to perform everything. He used the looping machine to perform by himself, a one-man band basically. So I remember we played the Stravinsky 3 pieces before we met him. But after we collaborated with him, he gave us some new ideas because he was breaking up the elements in the pieces, in those 3 pieces. And he make us know more about the piece actually. So when we play the 3 pieces again, we feel differently. I really remember that moment. Do you remember that moment? I really liked it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that was a piece that we felt, okay, we have done, that was a piece we felt we have done enough. Can we not do it anymore? But after that, we felt maybe we could revisit it again. So he saved us from the piece, from abandoning the piece. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that insight into your experiences. Yeah, it was definitely interesting to hear that it was the collaboration with the different artists that was the best, that you guys all felt that was the best part of your experiences as a quartet. So yeah, thank you so much for that. So moving on. So how often do you all get together to practice? And normally, how long do you guys practice together?
So Kian, would you like to answer?
Kian is a scheduling master, so you have to ask her.
Normally we practice by session. Each session lasted around 2 hours and a half, like 150 minutes if I calculate it correctly. So, but sometimes we do meet each other 24, almost 12 hours.
Yeah, there are days that we see each other way too much that I don't want to see them at all. Like we don't have regular rehearsal per se, because when things get busy, we basically see each other all the time. So I won't say that's regular, but we do see each other a lot.
Regular but irregular.
Once again, very spontaneous. Then you guys have to be very flexible.
Yeah, basically whenever we have time, right? Because to be able to find a time that works with 4 people is actually harder than you think. And we have this long list of time for weeks, and then we have to cancel out weeks times that don't work for each other, for yourself, and then you forward it, and the next person does exactly the same thing, and usually for about 20 options you only end up with about 5 or less. So not really much choice, and so we utilize whatever is left on the list, really, usually.
Okay.
Instead of thinking, oh, we're gonna meet 3 times a week. Yeah, this is not how we work. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that. That was definitely very interesting to hear that you guys work around based off what you guys already have. So yeah. So moving on. So we have another question from Miss Susanna. So she's asking, where do you guys practice together? Do you have one regular place like a music school, club, or classroom, or do you guys rotate places? Like from time to time, you guys practice over at Miss Kitty's place, or do you guys and then move on to Mr. Eric's house?
We have a studio. Yeah. We have a studio in on the Kowloon side, and yeah. We do go to members' places for fun.
Usually it also involves food, right?
Yes.
And games.
And Switch, and our studio is really small, and sometimes you want to do things in bigger places, then we'll go to some other places. But we do meet regularly in our studio.
Yeah. In Hong Kong, rent is really expensive, as you know. And so our location is very convenient. It's right in the middle between two halls. So whichever hall we need to be at during the day for other things, we can still squeeze time to go back to the studio if we really need to rehearse. And yeah, so that really goes to why our scheduling is really strange. It really has to do with just how Hong Kong works. So rent is high, but we need a place to rehearse, so we have to rent a place. That is expenditure. In order to do that, because Quartet in Hong Kong is starting to get better, but I think it's a worldwide phenomenon that is really hard to survive and earn a good living, to sustainable living as a string quartet. So we do have to do other things. So we all teach. We played. I used to also play in the orchestra where we met. So we do all kinds of things in order to pay for the rent, and to balance that, the rest of the time, unfortunately, is the time that we can spend time on the quartet. So this is how things worked out over here in Hong Kong. So it's not, maybe that's another challenge, is to have the ability to find that balance between fun, quartet, and actually feeding ourselves and renting a studio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the last question that we can handle for the day. Sorry to everyone else. But our next question once again comes from Miss Susanna. So do you? Oh wait, I think. Oh wait, never mind. I think this is a question that you guys have already answered anyway. So yeah. So we'll move on to one question in our Q&A section. So this question comes from Mr. Chris Yek. So once again, he says hi. And does it take a lot of consideration on planning the performance repertoire in accordance to the appreciation level across different nations during travels? So do you guys usually choose individual pieces gradually through trial and error, or a set of pieces grouped together coherently at the start? Also, any expectations on your teams from the do you guys usually get feedback from the audience as well? Yeah, it's a very long question.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's digest. We do get feedback from audience. If we get a chance, we try to ask the audience how they feel about it, their favorite piece. Would the piece be effective in the space that we perform, which is really important, I think, because a lot of times we feel we choose something that might seem relevant for the concert, for the setting, the time of the day or the event, but in the end, the space is not appropriate for the sound. So everything that we intend to present is lost and it's not really to the point. So we are always aware of that. And that can only be provided by the audience. That information, that feedback, we cannot judge from our perspective.
And actually, as I remember, every concert we played, before we organize the concert, the first question will be, who's the target audience? I think that's the most important question we have ever. I mean, we almost ask ourselves every time. So we do think about what kind of audience we play for before we choose our repertoire, I think.
Right.
Because I'm looking at the question now, I'm more clear to what he's asking.
Sorry about that on my part as well. But yeah, thanks for your answer to your question. Does anybody want to add to this answer to this question? No? All right. So with that, I think we'll have to end for tonight because we're definitely way over time at this point. So yeah, so once again, thank you so much for all your answers. And considering the fact that we've ended the program without finishing off the game, we'll just close it off as well. So we have Miss Kitty and Miss Kian winning at 2 points each, so they both tied. We have Mr. Ringo with 1 point, and we have Mr. Eric at 0 points. Unfortunately, unfortunately, we couldn't continue on with the game as well because I'm pretty sure you would have 1 more points as well. So yeah, once again, congrats to Miss Kitty and Miss Kian, and good job to everyone. So once again, sorry to everyone because but we are coming to the end of tonight's broadcast. So we would like to remind everyone that our JPO family program will be broadcasted every night until further notice. So please join us tomorrow with our next guest, who is from Indonesia, Lendi, who is also a pianist. So more details on this can be found on our Facebook page. So a video recording of tonight's broadcast will also be available on the Facebook page, along with the past webinars and the soon to be broadcasted interviews. So please feel free to share the link to the Zoom webinar or the JPO Facebook page with your friends and family. You guys have been an amazing audience, and if you are still awaiting a response to your questions, please stay on with us as the quartet would like to provide an answer to your questions in writing within the Q&A section down below. So we from the JPO family wishes that everyone stay safe and healthy as we continue to face this crisis together. So without further ado, I will now be leading a prayer to end tonight's program. So please pray in whatever faith you believe in regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. We pray that everyone in the world continues to stay strong in surviving through these difficult times, and that a solution to the virus will soon be found. We pray for everyone's well-being as we come to the 7th week of the MCO in Malaysia. We pray for the safety and well-being of the people starting work again. We also pray for the continued safety and morale of the frontliners who are risking their lives so that they may continue to provide for those in need. So, also once again, thank you to the Romance String Quartet for joining us tonight. Good night to all of you, and we hope to see you all again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.